Hi, I'm Daisy, and I am a domestic violence survivor. At first, he was really nice, and just like any other girl, I thought he was the cutest guy around. I loved his charm and just how he was at the time, and that's what kind of got me trapped in that, not trapped, but in that relationship. I was in that relationship for a good 3 years. The last year was just me trying to get away. And so, although I wasn't with him, I still felt like I was with him. But I was trying to get away. At first, he started being really controlling. He would dictate who I could talk to, who I could see, how I would dress, even the way I would talk or portray myself on social media. He wanted to have this perfect girlfriend, which I guess I wasn't, so he started to change me. But that's when I started really not seeing it because I didn't pick it up at the time, but those were the first signs I can remember. I did lose a lot of my friends. I don't speak to many of my friends from high school. I don't have a good relationship with my family anymore because while I was with him, he would prevent me from seeing them, whether it was because he didn't trust where I was going or simply just to have me around with him. Or he didn't like my family for whatever reason. It was kind of like a cycle, and we had our really good months where I just thought, oh, he's changed, he's great. Then it would go back to him finding an excuse to fight with me or to argue, or it was always 1 month we were good, the other we were terrible. So it wasn't every day getting beat. That sounds really extreme, but no, it wasn't like he was hitting me every day. But mentally and emotionally, he was abusing me every day. But the hitting wasn't an everyday thing. Those were, if he was just really just mad, then I would get hit. Every other month. Like I said, it was like a cycle. So we'd be good for a month. I feel like towards the end of the month, or not even necessarily a month time span, but just from when we'd get together to when we'd break up, it'd be a good month that we could actually be together, until he actually started back to the abuse and hitting, and it would get physical. So the reason I didn't get out of it sooner, and I get that question a lot, when you're young and you start losing all your friends and you feel like you have no one to really fall back on, and when you get away from that abuser, you're all alone and you're thinking, oh my god, I have nobody, that's when you start to miss them, and you miss that comfort, that routine that you had. It's when you start answering their calls again, or you start reaching out to them. It's things like that that keep you from leaving the situation. But it's really realizing your self-worth and realizing that you can be alone, and just being strong mentally is really what you need. My most traumatic, I think the most traumatic when he held a gun towards me. I was in the restroom and he just woke up out of his sleep and he grabbed a gun and he came and he pointed it at me, and I just remember crawling down towards and next to the tub, and I just held my arms against my face and I was like, please don't kill me. He was mad because he was just really jealous. He didn't like me being around his friends. He had a roommate, which made it worse because he thought that I liked his roommate. So he just woke up upset, I guess. Up to this day, I don't know why he was really upset, but he held the gun towards me, and I just remember thinking, I need to get out of here. That's one of the most traumatic that I remember. This is a little embarrassing, but I finally, after all the abuse, all the physical abuse, it took for me to walk in on him actually being with another girl for me to leave. Like, it took me seeing that when I was like, he really doesn't care about me. You don't realize that, that they're doing all this stuff because you feel like you can change this person, or you feel like you just love them and you'll do anything to keep them around, but you really have to love yourself, and you realize that you're worth more than that, and really valuing yourself to get away from it.
I'm Albert Perez, and I'm a youth ambassador for the Honeydrops Foundation.
I'm Jania, and I'm a youth ambassador for the Honeydrops Foundation.
So what we're doing here is we are creating awareness that domestic abuse doesn't just stretch as far as physically. It takes a toll on the mind, it takes a toll on the body, and it takes a toll on your emotions. There's many different forms, and what we are here for is we want to be the voice for the youth who are experiencing this, who can get themselves out of it. We want to make a change, and so that is why we take the positions that we are in, because abuse can be shown physically, sexually, emotionally, verbally. You have many different forms and ways of distributing, but there's so much more that you can do to stop it.
And it's not only in women, it's also in men. Domestic violence doesn't just show, it takes a toll on your mind. Like you said, your mind and your body. There's many of us who don't know we're in domestic violence relationships because it's hidden undercover, It starts with little jokes like, oh, you have a big head, but then that big head becomes, why you doing this? Or why you doing that? Don't do this, don't do that. Don't post it on social media. I don't want you doing this. I don't want you doing that. And then it becomes, you can't talk to this person because they do this. You can hang with this person because they hang with this. You can only take so much until something happens. You don't want to go too deep into it where you're on your knees begging for your life.
And I do believe we have to start by educating our youth, empowering them, showing them that there's much more to life than just, my focus really is the relationship part. There's much more to relationships. Find yourself. You were young, in high school. That's when really puberty starts to hit. You start having crushes, maybe even middle school, and you think, you devote yourself, your whole life to these people, when in a few years they'll be out of your life. So focus on yourself, your dreams. If there's something that you want to do, go for it. Don't rush to get into a relationship, especially when you're that young. You want to find yourself. I can't stress it enough. You have to find yourself and find your own value to really be ready to give yourself to someone else. We have to be ready for that stuff because it's a lot of mental, emotional work that you put into relationships, and most kids aren't ready for that. It's a lot of work. Find yourself.
We want to educate, elevate, and empower the youth over domestic violence because we are the next generation. We have to break the cycle. We start from the bottom up.
And it all starts with you. That's why we're here. So join us in the Honeydrops Foundation to help empower youth.
I am the solution.
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 We are the
solution.
Join us at the Honeydrops Foundation.
as we strive to educate, elevate, and empower our youth. Donate, volunteer, support, anything you can do. We just want you to be a part of this movement. Thank you.